This is Movie Night with the Boys.
Welcome to Movie Night with the Boys. I'm Zach.
And I'm John.
And we're a podcast that talks about movies, TV shows, and video games. And today we're talking about Miss Marvel, Episode 4, and The Boys, Episode 7.
And just a friendly reminder to everyone, we're a part of the Geek Talk Network, where you can also find Dustin and Tyler over at What in the Anime. If you really are into anime or anything anime related, they're definitely the podcast to check out, and you can find them wherever you get your podcasts.
So now John's going to tell us about Miss Marvel, Episode 4.
So the episode opens with Kamala and her mother flying to Karachi to meet up with her nanny after she got the call about her also seeing the vision of the train. So she meets up with her nanny and her cousins. They all get, they're excited to see each other. And then the cousins take off, and Nani, Kamala's mother, and Kamala drive off to her nanny's house.
Karachi, the city of lights. Do you know what the meaning of Noor is? What does Noor mean?
I do not.
Noor means light. So it's kind of like a foreshadowing in the lore.
Interesting. So once they get to the house, Kamala goes and finds her room, but she also ends up going into a different room, which is full of art that her nanny has done. Along the way, she's telling Kamala that essentially the last time the bangle was used, it saved her life and it brought her back to her father. So while she's sleeping, she's got some kind of flashbacks going on. It's probably just a bad dream. And then you get her grandmother's voice saying, "Find the train." So after that, the next day, so after waking up from her cousins who poke fun at her for her sloth, they go out to lunch, and then the cousins are showing her around a historical section of Karachi where they point out Old Town, where the people who first came from the partition first settled. As soon as they talk about splitting off to go get coffee, Kamala says she wants to check out the train station, and they split apart. She ends up going to the train station, and as she's walking, you get this cool mural of Ant-Man.
There's lots of Ant-Man references in this whole series.
So as she's looking around, she gets attacked by a person dressed in a red face mask and throws daggers. He's introduced as Red Dagger, obviously. He says that he's found her by the fact that he sensed her Noor. They have a nice, quick little fight. I shouldn't say nice, but they have a quick little fight. And one thing leads to another, essentially. After he realizes that she is not bad, he tells her that there is someone that she needs to meet.
Well, they're about to get arrested.
And then he says, "Come with me if you want to live," which I found pretty funny as a Terminator fan.
So there's also a joke in there too, like she said, "What if I'm Canadian?" And it's funny because she actually is Canadian. She's from Markham.
Who, the actress?
Yeah, Aman Vellani is from Canada.
That's cool.
In the comic books, do you know what the Red Dagger is?
I do not, but I do remember you briefly saying that he was a villain.
Well, in the comics, there's only one character named the Red Dagger, and he has no powers, and he's a vigilante. He moves to New York, and he's part of Kamala Khan's story. But yeah, in this,
so he's like he's like a regular character
in her series, I believe so, or at least for a little bit.
So I
don't know. I don't know what this Red Dagger organization is, but they added in all these stupid gyms, so who knows?
Yeah, you'll definitely know a lot more about that than I would. I'm hoping that at least we get more of him. I kind of like his character. He leads her to this restaurant, which happens to be like a secret cover for Red Dagger headquarters, where she's told the story of the Noor dimension and the clandestine and her great grandmother Aisha. And then she holds the bangle up and will lead the head of the Red Daggers, notices that there's an inscription, and the inscription says, "What you seek is seeking you." Next scene, we get the clandestine, who are in the DODC custody, and they're being marched what looks to be towards their cells or whatever.
Do you recognize that building?
Looks like the Pentagon, but I believe it's been in another movie.
It literally said what it is. It's the DODC Supermax, the same place that Abomination is. It's this exact same place they showed us in the She-Hulk trailer.
Kidding. I guess I have to go back and rewatch that trailer. That's cool, though, keeping it together. As they're being marched down the hallway, one of the guards punches Najma in the face, which pisses off Kamran, and he starts fighting off one of the guards. Was it Najma that threw the knife that broke them free? I think it's her that has the knives, right? His mother.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was Najma. So they all get out. They break free. He gets knocked out, or at least he gets knocked down and injured. And as they're all running, he's being carried, and then Najma says, "Leave him because he's made his choice," and they leave to go pursue Kamala and the Bengal. So after that, we learn that Kamala's mom left Pakistan because she was being constantly shunned by the neighbors over the stories that her mother would tell. And now she's trying to get her to move back to America with her. So Waleed's telling her about her powers and essentially how, because she's of both dimensions, she has more control over them. And then he gives her a vest, which is reminiscent of her, well, not reminiscent of, but
History. It's reminiscent of her history, so she knows where
okay.
she's from. It's basically like she's slowly like building up like her own costume. She's building her own identity, and it's reminiscent of her outfit in the comic.
Right after that, the clandestine break in through the ceiling, and they begin to chase Kamala, Waleed, and Kareem away through the streets of Karachi. So a couple of them are in trucks. They end up taking this like bike thing. As they're trying to get away, they separate. Kamala ends up stealing a truck, and just as Waleed is not Waleed, just as Kareem is kind of about to be cornered, Kamala runs right into one of them, super hard, sends him flying. Waleed is running across rooftops and he sees Kamala and Kareem are about to get attacked by one of the big guys. He throws his knives at them and Najma comes behind him and stabs him and unfortunately kills Waleed. So Kamala and Kareem get chased into a dead end and they basically forced to stand their ground as the clandestines show up to start attacking them. They fight for a couple of moments. You see, a good bunch of fight between Kamala and using her powers and the Red Dagger and using his ability with the blades. Najma turns around to see Adam get killed by Kareem, which makes her angry, and she goes to stab Kamala. And when she goes to stab Kamala, Kamala defends herself by throwing the arm up with a bangle. Najma stabs the bangle, which somehow, I guess, sends Kamala through time, or at least that's what we're led to believe, back to the partition. And she's completely confused, and I think so are we. And that's the end of the episode.
Well, I wasn't really confused. It makes sense, like any other time travel movie. She's the
Well,
stars. Kamala's the one who makes the trail of stars and saves her grandmother.
no, I get that. And I'm wondering, according to at least pre Loki, according to Endgame, if you travel in time, when you travel in time, it's to a different timeline. Obviously, everybody's.
Not if it's a complete loop. If it's meant to happen and that's what always happens, that wouldn't affect the timeline.
I guess that's fair. I didn't think of it from that perspective. I immediately went back to Endgame and the whole theory of different timelines. So still then the question remains, how did the knife make her go back in time?
A knife could be some kind of technology or whatever, the same material that the bangle is made out of from their dimension. So it triggered something in it.
Yeah, it is one of her Jinn weapons, I think. So yeah, that would track.
All right, so what did you think about the episode?
I really enjoyed it. I liked that it was more up paced than the last one was, or at least it felt more up paced. It didn't feel slow, except for really in the beginning when it was just the family stuff. But once she met the Red Dagger, it kind of picked up and never really slowed down after that. I mean, except for with one scene, but it really wasn't too bad. What about you?
I didn't mind it. Like I said, I'm very thrown off about the whole Jin thing, but I'm more into it because I enjoy time travel. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It was okay. Since you enjoyed it, what was something you disliked?
I feel like it was unnecessary to poke fun at her when she woke up. The whole sleeping with somebody. Just, I mean, I get it. It's cousins poking fun. I didn't really. Other than that, I didn't really have anything I disliked too much about this episode, except for maybe killing Waleed. What about you?
I don't know. I guess I don't really care too much to learn about like the mom's backstory, but I mean it's important, but like I don't really care. So that's probably something I disliked.
That's fair.
So who is your favorite character of the episode?
I gotta give it. See, I was gonna say Kareem, but I kind of want to say Waleed because he was really badass and just the knife thing that he did with the wall, that was so cool. I really enjoyed that stuff. Yeah, I really liked Waleed, even though he had an unfortunate end. I thought he was very, very knowledgeable and versed, and so willing to help Kamala that he kind of made a good presence, even though he was a short-lived character. What about you?
Probably go with Kamala because it seems like she's finally getting her shit together, and now she's back in the past, and we'll see what happens. So probably go Kamala for this episode. What about your least favorite?
This one's kind of easy for me. This time it's Najma, the lady leader of the clandestine. She was really just ready to drop her son like nothing, and I get it. He quote unquote took his chose his side, but that's your kid, man. I mean, I could never do that. What about you?
I don't know. I didn't really mind anybody in this episode, so I can't say that I have one. What was your overall rating of the episode?
I feel like this was an 8 for me. I didn't have anything that I could really improve on without knowing more. So I can give this one an 8. What would you say?
I guess like a 7. About a 7.
So 7 of 5. So now it's Zach's turn. He's going to tell you about episode 7 of The Boys.
So, episode 7. So, we see Black Noir and we see how fucking psychotic he is because he has these weird, like, he can see cartoon characters. So, on the screen, you have all these random cartoon characters running around, you know, doing cartoony nonsense. And we
Silly.
see so we basically get like this flashback and we see how like basically how they betrayed Soldier Boy, right? And so in the flashback we also see like Soldier Boy was beating the crap out of Gunpowder and he shut down Black Noir from getting a movie role. So like he was like confronting him and then Soldier Boy just beat the living shit out of him. Like but it's funny too because they're all like cartoon animals in this flashback, right?
What?
Yeah. So it's extra animated, just bloody like so Black Noir is a sheep and Soldier Boy is an eagle. And yeah, he just beat the shit out of him. Then we get a flash of the events of what happened during like when Soldier Boy supposedly got killed and we find out that basically the team jumped him, they gassed him, and I guess they traded him off to the Russians, right? But he beat the shit out of the majority of them, and then we see when we seen the flat like when we seen the flashback, and then we seen Black Noir was all fucked up and his face was all fucked. We see what happened, and it was basically Soldier Boy grabbed his face, like put it to like a burning car, melted half his face, and then just smashed his skull open with his shield, right? So some pretty gruesome shit. Then we cut back to A Train and he's in a hospital bed and we find out from Ashley that he got a new heart and this heart actually turns out to be Blue Hawks. So she gives him this spiel about how Homelander found him, saved them. They got attacked by, yeah, I think they said Soldier Boy, but I don't remember. They're trying to keep Soldier Boy under wraps, right? But basically, they found him, replaced his heart, and now he has this racist heart. Then we see Butcher, Huey, and Soldier Boy, and they're looking for Mindstorm, and they find his location, and then they're out in the bushes, and Mindstorm gets Butcher and puts Butcher in this like coma, right? In this coma, Butcher is basically reliving his childhood where he left his brother behind. We see how abusive his father is, right? And we see that Butcher is basically his father, which is kind of fucked up,
Oh
right?
no.
So Huey and Soldier Boy find Mindstorm, right? And right as Soldier Boy is about to kill him, Huey teleports, grabs him, teleports him back to Butcher because he's the only one that can pretty much get Butcher out of the coma. And if they kill him, Butcher's going to be stuck in this coma for till he dies, basically. So Huey makes the deal. Buddy says okay, right? Huey said he was going to teleport him wherever he wants. So Buddy's like, okay. He wakes up Butcher, and all of a sudden we see a knife come flying through and stabs him right through the eye, like from the side. So like the knife handle is here and the blade is coming out of his face. Yeah. It was pretty gnarly.
That's a good
And
scene.
then Huey's like, wait, right? Because like Soldier Boy comes up, puts a pillowcase over his head, punches him in the face, and he starts questioning him, right? Huey's like, yo, wait. And then he just fucking clocks Huey, and Huey goes flying. And we see Butcher gets kind of pissed off, and his eyes light up, but he doesn't do anything. So then Soldier Boy is interrogating Mindstorm, right? And Mindstorm, I guess, finally admits something, right? Yada, yada, yada. Then Soldier Boy just fucking smashes his head in with his shield, right? It was pretty it was pretty gnarly.
Brain matter everywhere.
So we see Kimiko, and her and Frenchie show up at MM's place. And, Kimiko's all fucked up. Starlight's there. Kimiko asks Starlight to grab some Compound V for her because she she was doesn't want to lose Frenchie, and because she didn't have her power, she almost wasn't able to save Frenchie. So she's like, yeah, I need the Compound V. So she asked Starlight to get it for her. While retrieving the Compound V, Annie discovers that the V24 will kill its users after 3 to 5 doses, right? So as she's trying to leave, Homelander confronts her, you know, about the live stream, telling her, okay, you're gonna go up to the news station, you're gonna tell them I was lying and you were just heartbroken and yada yada. And then Annie goes and pulls out her cell phone, and she was live streaming the whole time. So she live streamed everything that Homelander said to her. So basically Homelander is looking like a big piece of shit now, right? So Annie calls Butcher because she can't get a hold of Huey, and she tells him that, you know, 3 to 5 doses is gonna kill you guys. Please stop taking it. He hangs up the phone, and Huey shows up, and he's like, I gotta tell you something about the V24. And he's like, we gotta go in the morning and get some more, right? So he obviously didn't tell her shit. So then, Starlight hands off the Compound V to Kimiko. Then we see Frenchie and Kimiko in the bedroom, and he injects her with the Compound V, and then we see all the gashes and cuts on her slowly just heal up, right? So she's got her powers back. After that, basically, we see Homelander. He's on the phone, basically trying to cover his ass. Then he gets a call from Soldier Boy, right? And then this is basically where we find out what Mindstorm told him. So basically, the reason they got rid of Soldier Boy was because they wanted to replace him with his child, Homelander.
Oh
And
shit!
that's the end of the episode.
Woo! What a cliffhanger that is! Holy shit!
Yeah. We only have one episode left, so
All answers will come to a head soon. Now, Soldier Boy has been on ice. You said he was like cryogenically frozen for a while or something.
no, he was just in Russia being experimented on.
Yeah. So he has aged then.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, he hasn't. Ooh,
But
awkward.
there's certain supers that haven't aged as well, right? Stormfront was one of them. Stormfront was a Nazi, didn't age a day.
Oh no.
Homelander isn't gonna age, right? So it's not a new thing. Comic book characters don't age. That shouldn't be too surprising.
What did you think of the episode?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a little slow, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
Good recovery from Herogasm,
Yeah, yeah, I would say. Got to take it
right?
easy this week.
Yeah. Yeah. No disclaimers. So you enjoyed it. So what's something you disliked about the episode?
I have to say, I guess I didn't mention it, but we finally see where Maeve is being held, and she's
Mhm.
like locked up in like Vought somewhere, and Homelander tells her that he's basically keeping her alive so that he can harvest her eggs so he can reproduce later on.
Wow.
So I think that's kind of fucked up. But I mean, the whole show's kind of fucked up, but like I don't really like that.
Yeah, that's so. Who was your favorite character this episode?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I like Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy. He's such a dick, right? So, I'd have to say probably Soldier Boy. Not too
Right.
much happened in this episode. I mean, there was another scene with the Deep, and okay. So there's a scene with the Deep. So this will be my most disliked character, is the Deep.
Okay.
And it'll more likely always be the Deep. But the scene, I didn't mention the scene, but the scene is his wife comes home and he's like, ooh, all in bed, and he's like, buttering up his wife, and he's like, yeah, so I want to spice up, our sex life.
No.
And he's like, I want to introduce people into it, right? So
No.
she's like, okay, let's do it. Who did you have in mind? And he goes and he pulls out the octopus.
Fucking Jesus Christ! I knew you were
Yeah.
gonna say it.
Yeah. So she's like, no. And she's like, come on, this is what I need. So then they cut away and then they're in bed and, the octopus is on his crotch. And then he's like talking to the octopus telepathically, I guess. And the octopus says that he wants to taste the wife, and that you see a tentacle go on her leg, and she's like, nope, 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 can't do it. I can't do it. And she just like walks out. So I have to say, yeah, the Deep is very fucked, man. Like he is basically what everybody says Aquaman is. So yeah.
So gross.
Yeah. So yeah, the Deep.
Thanks for saving me on the segue for that one. That was a wild ride you just put me on. All right, so what was your rating of the episode?
I mean, not again, like I said, not a lot happened. I did enjoy the twist at the end, so that kind of bumps it up. So I'd give it like an 8.
Alright.
I think one of my lower ratings for this series.
Yeah, you've I think kept it above an 8 for the most part, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So
Well, that was episode 7, season 3 of The Boys. Later this week, you can look forward to our quick little dive into the Thor trilogy that has been out for a little while now, and our anticipation and lead up to Thor: Love and Thunder.
yep. So don't forget, we're part of the Geek Talk Network. So go check out the other show on the network, What in the Anime, with Dustin and Tyler. If you enjoy anime, they talk about news, they review TV shows and movies, all anime related. So yeah, check them out. What in the Anime on the Geek Talk Network.
So, Zach, it's been real.
It has, John. Deuces.
Thank you all so much for listening to Movie Night with The Boys.